This is a custom pedal board. I built this, I'm trying to think of when I did this. This must have been 1980, 82, 81. Definitely before, I date all my stuff by albums that came out. Definitely before the Asia album came out, which was in 1982. So this must have been 1981. And what it is before they had Multi Effects Pedalboards for sale, you would buy stomp boxes and have them on a board taped down or whatever, and I thought that was horrible. So I worked in this place and I bent up this cabinet special and put all the effects inside. I'll open it up and I'll show you what's inside, but basically it's a Morley volume pedal. There used to be a Electro-Harmonix Memory Man that I blew up, and then I put new chips in it and it worked for about 6 months, and then it blew again and I took it out and I don't even know where that board is, but that would be really great. It has the Electro-Harmonix Clone Theory, I think that's what they call it. Anyway, it's a chorus pedal. There's a DOD phase shifter in there. I'm trying to think what this... Oh, I had a big muff. Electro-Harmonix big muff that I took out, and I can't believe, like, I put it back in the box and gave it to somebody or something. But that would have been really great. The one that's in here now, the distortion, is a MXR Distortion 2. And that's an old wah-wah. Oh, man. Crybaby? Yeah. Let's see if I can get this thing to... There we go. Crybaby wah-wah. All from like that same time. Remember, I worked for this electrical engineer guy. Guy was brilliant. I remember drawing out the schematic. I took the thing apart, looked inside, figured out like what the schematic was for the transistors and the choke and everything like that. And I said, what can I do to this thing to just mod it a little bit? And the guy was like, well, if you put a pot across these 2 points right here, you can change how much effect this has on the tone circuit. It's kind of cool. Anyway, I'll turn it on and show you. But this board I used to play in an Yes cover band, and I had a pedal steel guitar, well, a regular steel string guitar, but it was on a stand, and I used to have to switch. So I have a couple of inputs in here, and then I've got this switch right underneath the volume control, so that if I wanted to switch. You know how, like, if it's all plugged into one amp and you switch from one guitar to another, the guitar will be open and feeding back or whatever like that. But I could turn this down and then with the heel activate that switch, and it would actually change the channels for whatever was plugged in. And then when I blew up the Memory Man, I had a Roland Space Echo, and I wired some jacks in the back. Let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, right, I had like an in and out, and then the switch would control. But then another time, I guess another era of this thing, I had a Roland Jazz Chorus, a JC120, and it had chorus control and reverb and all this other stuff. So I made this little breakout box that these would go into the back of the amp. And then this special connector would go into this right here. It's an Amphenol connector. And then I would be able to control like the second channel on the amp. What else did I have? The distortion on the amp, I think. Anyway, it was crazy. And this thing is like extinct, it still works. Another thing this had was... It had the regular amp out, and then it had another channel that was like essentially clean. So it was the input signal, and the clean signal would be controlled by the same pot. So you can have like, I know with the Big Muff, you could actually drive a little bit of the original guitar signal along with the Big Muff, like in parallel. and it was just a cleaner way, but you had all that really heavy distortion, the fuzz, and also the phase shifter and the chorus work really great in stereo. So I had 2 amps, and I had one with the effects, and the other one was dry. And when you had the chorus on and stuff like that, it was just huge. Morley volume pedal. Super quiet. I can't believe it still works. I can't believe the capacitors haven't leaked out completely. The wah-wah. This distortion plus. Anyway, I was actually taking this out to the garbage, and I said I should just film. I don't know, I'll probably regret it, but it sits, it collects dust, it is filthy. This is the first time I've turned it on in 4 years, and when I turned it on 4 years ago, it was when my brother returned it to me after having it for about 8, and he never used it either. Let's open this thing up. I remember I had all these screws and they were tapped, but the chassis was aluminum, so they all stripped. And I got like these zip screws in here, a few of them holding on. Oh yeah. Wow. Let's see. That is pretty cool. That's part of the Electro-Harmonix power supply that I just took off and rewired. Craziness. And that's like the Morley pedal. Basically what I did is I just split it and I put the thing on top so you wouldn't have to see this box. That's interesting. Stuck a piece of plastic in there because I think the tips of the input were touching the Morley case. Pretty cool. What is that? Oh, wow. That's a 12-volt power supply that I built. I forgot about that. That is way cool. This thing is neater than I thought. I remember when I first did this board, it was pretty messy, but I think I might have redone it. I tried to keep all the, the signal leads parallel. Perpendicular to power leads. Kept them, all the power was up at the top here. That LED, that must have been from the Echo. That's right. That's the last remaining part of the Memory Man Echo is the LED. True bypass on the channel switching and all this nonsense. But anyway, it's hard to say goodbye to this thing because it's really cool. Really cool. So, this label, this is a custom-made label. The company that I worked for had, they built these large machines and they had this 3M photo transfer paper, and you would basically, you know, use these rub-on letters to create these this clear acetate that you could put on top of this film, develop it, and then you use this special cleaner and it would like take off wherever wasn't this exposed. So like wherever the letters were, like would be white, and then all the black was the original like color of the label. I think that came out kind of good. Phase shifter. It's funny, on the chorus, as I was playing it, I just found out that this control is actually labeled backwards. In this position, it's all vibrato, but when it's all the way up over here, it's chorus. But anyway, I never even looked. It was really just for show. I knew the pedals inside and out. This Morley, when I bought the thing, on the steel case on the bottom, it actually used these feet for stoppers, you know, and I was actually able to find those exact feet and use it to put on here. The thing was great, really. Whenever I went on a gig or an audition or something like that, this would blow people's minds because nobody had this. You know, this was before, like, I think a Boss ME5 was like the first Multi Effects thing that you could buy with everything built in together, which I did buy. But at the time, nobody had this. The thing was big, heavy, but had its own power. You know, you just plug into the wall. You don't have to worry about batteries or anything like that. And really cool.